Hi, Art Kurtz here at Easy Access Math, and today we're going to do inequalities. Now, before we start, let me get you familiar with the signs for inequalities, the symbols. This is less than, kind of like pointing back to the lower numbers. Less than and equals to, greater than, going forward, and greater than and equals to, going towards the higher numbers. There's many ways you could remember them, and you could check online to give you some hints. But I like to think of it this way, like an elevator. When it's going down, the red light might go back towards the lower floors, lower, less than. And that's a less than sign. And a green arrow might be pointing that way towards the higher floors, going up, the higher numbers, so that's greater than. And if they have the bar on the bottom, it means greater than and equal or less than and equal. So let's look at our equation here, and let me give you some advice. Solve it like it was an equation with an equal sign, and we'll pay mind to that sign later on. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all my x's to the left. All my x's this way. It'll make life a lot easier. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides and get rid of that there. And that leaves me now with negative 4x. Remember your signs. Rules of sign numbers is greater than negative 3. Now, I can't leave a side empty, so I have to bring my plain old number, my regular number, that way. And I do that by subtracting 5 from both sides. And that gives me negative 4x equals negative 8. Well, almost put equals there because I'm doing it like an equation, but remember it's a greater than sign, not equals. But you do it just like you would do an equation and solving for x, except it does have a greater than sign. It could have a less than sign, less than and equals. But the concept is the same as an equation. You're solving for a number. Now I want x by itself, so I divide by the number next to x, sign and all, negative 4. Sign and all, and I do that to both sides. And something strange here happens. When you divide by a negative, and only when you divide by a negative number, when there's a negative number next to the x, that you have to flip the sign. It goes the other way. So I have x is less than, it flipped, 2. Positive 2, because 2 negatives equal a positive. Remember your rules of sign numbers. And if I'm going to put that on a number line, I go to the 2, make a hollow circle. If it's less than and equal, the circle is filled in, and it goes less than, going back, anything under. Now, you could go back and do a check. Try a number less than 2. Let's take 1 and substitute. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 5 gives me 7. 6 times 1 is 6, minus 3 is 3. 7 is greater than 3. It's true in the original equation or inequality. So that's how you do inequalities, just like an equation, but with different symbols. And remember, if you divide by a negative, it flips. If you divide by a positive, it stays the same.